All right, everyone, welcome back into the channel. My name is Mark, and I hope everyone had a great week. And you know what? It actually warmed up this week. It was like mid 40s ever since like Tuesday or Wednesday. And yeah, I know that's not warm, but it is a lot better than 8 degrees or 10 degrees like it has been the past month. And this weekend, I believe, is supposed to be pretty nice. And then next week is going to be like mid 40s to low 50s. So I will take that every single day in the winter. But there is a certain book I want to discuss, a certain horror book that I want to talk about. So sit back, grab a drink, coffee, tea, a cold beverage, whatever you want to grab. Relax, because this horror book is one that you do not want to miss out on. At an early age, I fell in love with horror. My parents let me watch horror movies at an early age, going from, Freddy, Halloween, Jason, Poltergeist, Puppet Master, Leatherface, Child's Play, Candyman, all them old school horror flicks. And yeah, they were scary. They were frightening. But I was able to handle them. And I used to always read those scary stories to tell in the dark books. I believe there was 2 or 3 of them, right? If I can remember. But there is a huge difference when watching a horror movie and reading a horror book. Obviously, like we all know, a horror movie gives you the visual with what is going on in that movie, right? We all know that. And yeah, it can be scary. It can be frightening. You might have to, turn away from the TV screen because it's just a little too much. Books, on the other hand, they allow your mind to create what is being told, the scenes that you are reading in any way you want them to be. And this author, Corvina Sweeney, created this book. And that is exactly what she does. She will give you the imagination. She will give you your mind to create the scenes in your head. And she does it very, very well. Temptress of Weinberger Road tells the story of a small town called Ponchatoula. And early on, well, let me just say this. The opening scene to this book is very descriptive. Very, very descriptive. And it's just not the opening scene. It is every scene in this book where the description of what is happening will be ingrained into your mind well after you're done reading this book. So early on, you're being told about a murder happening. And then after the opening scene, a person comes to town named David, looking for his brother who has gone missing. Hasn't talked to him in quite a few weeks. And he has no idea where to begin. He has no idea what to do when looking for a missing person. So he hires a private investigator named Grant. Because I believe the cops are in this book. And I'm saying I believe that they are because I don't remember too much of the police being involved in this book. I mean, I do remember the private investigator, gathering his information and evidence and bringing it to the police, but nothing ever happens with that. The private investigator's doing, his job, his part in trying to help this man, David, try to find his missing brother. And then you have Delphine, who owns an antique shop. She's very precise, very meticulous, very organized, okay? And then you have her employee who relishes in every step Delphine takes, every word she speaks. She is someone who would love to mirror everything about her boss, Delphine. The author creates a story that will leave you in chills. That will leave you with such an unsettling feeling by the end of it. And she does it very, very well. This, in my opinion, is her best work. I have read quite a few of her books. And I guess she could be considered a new author for me. I found her early last year. And like I mentioned, I have read quite a few of her books. And one thing I love about finding new authors is I always start with their older books to always see the growth of the author. And from the very first book that I read from her to this one, she has come a long way. The writing in this one is very smooth, very structured, very organized. Every page, every chapter pulled me in. If I could remember, I read this one pretty quick. But she has grown as a writer and she is doing a phenomenal job because she writes horror and she also writes comedy horror. And in my opinion, she has such a gift to jump back and forth and go from comedy horror and horror. It's truly remarkable. If you haven't read any of her work, I highly recommend The Coven, which is a comedy horror, and trust me, you will crack up the entire time reading that book. It's a great book. And then go to this one and you will know exactly what I'm talking about with how well she can just jump from one genre to the next. same genre, but two different kinds of genre, two different forms of it. Like I said, this book will leave you in chills. It did with me. It gave me quite a few goosebumps. I've told this story to a few people. There's this one chapter that is very gruesome. Okay? And I read it late night. And I wake up early every single day. When I wake up, it's still dark out when I go to work. And I remember going to my car, and as I'm walking to my car, I swear I heard footsteps. And I immediately got my phone out, turned the flashlight on, and was just like looking around in between cars, behind trees. I'm not even lying. I am not exaggerating. I swear I did. And I remember just cracking up and being like, man, this book is really, really getting to me. It was too funny. I know. It's one of those stories where you had to be there for it to be funny. But I highly recommend this book if you are a horror lover, if you really love the horror genre and you're looking for a great horror book to read that will give you that feeling, then I highly recommend you pick this one up. All right? Promise you won't regret it. But yeah, that is it. Great book. I believe she has another one coming out very, very soon, I'm hoping. And I believe it's going to be another straight horror one. She might throw some comedy in it, but I believe it's going to be mostly just horror. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys are intrigued enough to give this author a try and give her work a try. And yeah, all right. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. You know, I love you all. Until the next one, stay strong, stay positive, but most importantly, stay focused. All right. See you next time.